Hello world! Today we are going to take a walk on the wild side with a 3 looks, 1 palette featuring Buxom's Dolly's Wild Ride. Hey everybody, Shelly here, and today I'm going to do something a little bit different for my channel here. I'm going to do 3 looks out of 1 palette. Now, I was completely inspired by the 4 looks 1 palette series that Kristen Guillaume does, and her videos are amazing, and I find that to be so useful because coming up with different eye looks, it's just something that still challenges me. So part of this series is a challenge to myself to not hit the microphone. So part of this series is a challenge to myself to come up with multiple looks from a single eyeshadow palette, and part of it is because I hope that finding different techniques and different looks out of a single palette can help you guys, if you struggle with the same thing, to get more ideas on ways that you can combine colors and place them on your eye for different looks, different effects, different intentions, different times of day, if you buy into that whole daytime, nighttime thing. Now, I don't really buy into that whole thing. This, a lot of people would say, looks like a nighttime look. I would wear this any day that I felt like wearing purple things. So what I've got today is the Buxom Dolly's Wild Side palette. Now, I thought it was called Dolly's Wild Ride palette, and I kind of gave some like mad props to Buxom because I really have the dirty mind of a 10-year-old boy. But it's actually called Dolly's Wild Side, and it's really pretty. Let me just show you these shadows if you haven't seen them before. It's basically a mix of some mattes and some shimmers, and they're all in the neutral to mauve kind of shades with, you know, the party color right here is your pink. This is called Wild Nights. Now, the whole reason I even own this palette to begin with is I wanted to customize my own Buxom palette. Now, if you're not familiar with these cases are customizable, and you can slide the eyeshadows out, and they're all sold individually, so when you run out of one, you can just get a refill, pop it in there, and you're good to go. And I think that is awesome because I will always run out of my transition shades and the mattes a lot faster than I run out of the bolder colors. So I wanted to customize my own palette, and I went to Ulta and I started putting my palette together, and it runs $40 if you buy the empty palette along with 6 eyeshadows, or you can buy them. They have a few pre-configured ones like this. So I had picked my 6 shades, and then I discovered that Wild Nights color, that shimmer pink, and I really, really wanted it, and they did not have it in stock in single shadows. And then the wonderful salesperson, who is great at her job and also is a great source of advice. I love my local Ulta, Harrisonburg Ulta for the win. So she asked if I had looked at Dolly's Wild Side, and because it included Wild Nights, and I had not looked at it as of yet. And so then I looked through all of the colors that were in this palette, and none of them overlapped the colors that I wanted for my custom palette. And so I bought both. So what I'm going to do in this video, which will hopefully become a series of videos, is show you the application techniques that I used to complete this look. I will generally skip the face products. I'm just going to show you how I got the eye, because that's really the key with the eyeshadow, but I will list all of the things I'm wearing on my mug down below in the down bar, so that if you're curious, then you can find out what else is on my face. So let's kick this off and check out 3 different looks out of Dolly's Wild Side. Look number 1 is a sort of pink and gold halo eye. I wore this to work every single day for a week when I first picked up this palette. I'm going to start each one of these looks with Too Faced Shadow Insurance Eye Primer, and I'm also going to be using the Wet n Wild Crème Brule single, just because there's no flesh toned color in this palette, so I like to mattify my primer before I start putting on shadows. So here is the Buxom palette. I am going to start with Lingerie Lover, and I'm using this as a transition shade. I'm using a very fluffy It Cosmetics blending brush, and I'm just using this to sort of give a good transition that will allow all of the other colors to sort of go on smoothly and blend out nicely. Next, I'm going in with Spoiled Sexy on a Sigma E25. This is also a crease blending brush, but it's a little bit more dense and a little bit more precise. It's still very sort of fluffy and able to blend out though. So I'm taking this into the actual crease and into the outer third or so. Now I'm going to go in with the star of the show. This is Wild Nights, and I'm using a Real Techniques flat shadow brush, and I'm kind of packing this on to the outer third of my eye, and I'm going to end up taking this into the inner corner as well. And I like to do a halo eye and connect the top of my halo if that makes any sense. So here is the inner corner, and then I'm going to connect it in the lower socket of my crease. Now I've got hooded eyes and deep set crease, so it's one of those things where I need to put a lot of color down if you want to be able to see it. Now I'm going into Champagne Buzz, which is the lighter of the sort of glittery, shimmery shades, and I'm filling in that inner part that I had left blank in the halo. And without any more product, I'm using that Real Techniques brush again to sort of blend out the edges with some pink and gold. Going back into Champagne Buzz and, Lingerie Lover, and I'm just going to fix that crease and blend things out a little bit. Now it's time for some highlight. This is the color Silk Sheets, and I'm going to take this on a generic brush that I got from CVS, and I don't even know what it's called, and use that for my inner corner highlight and also for my brow bone highlight. I like to focus on the outer part of my brow bone first and take what's left and pull it in. For liner, I used Physicians Formula Ultra Black. It is a total dupe for Kat Von D's Trooper. And for mascara, I'm using It Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. And I like this mascara. I don't love this mascara, but I do like it. I also like on my bottom lashes to use the L'Oreal Telescopic. I find that the brush is just easier to do on lower lashes. Going to tightline with my Urban Decay 24/7 Waterline pencil. And I forget the name of it, but it's just black. And this is the finished look. A little bit champagne gold, a little bit pink. Colorful yet totally doable for daytime and work wear. I like it. Look number 2, we are going basically mauve and gold for this one, so there's no bright pink. It's a little bit more subtle than the first look. Again, I'm starting with Shadow Insurance and my Wet n Wild Crème Brule all over the lid to set that primer. And I'm going to kick this all off with Lingerie Lover again. It's a really good transition color for the crease. And I'm using my Sigma E25 brush again, and we're just going to blend that out. And this time, instead of going into the lower third, I'm focusing on just my crease area. Then I am going to take Spoiled Sexy. This is the darker matte in this palette, and I'm going to go into both my lower crease, but I'm also going to kind of halo it out, and I'm not going to be keeping this color. I'm going to be going over it with the gold, but I wanted just a little bit more dimension. So now I'm going to grab this Mink Magnet, which is the darker of the gold shimmery colors, and I am going to go over the whole entire lower lid, including the area that I had the Spoiled Sexy on, but I just wanted to give it a little bit more depth in the inner and outer corner than straight up gold. So you'll see I'm sort of layering it over the edge there and giving just a little bit more depth. Now I'm also trying to blend this into the crease. It's tough when you have hooded eyes to know exactly how high into the crease because you don't want to bring a ton of attention to your hoods with the shimmer. I'm going to go back in with the Mink Magnet, and I'm going to use, this is an outer V brush by Makeup Geek, and I'm just going to darken up that outer corner a little bit and then blend it out with no more additional product but that same flat shadow brush I used for the Mink Magnet. We're using Silk Sheets for the inner corner highlight and the brow bone highlight. And just a little bit more Spoiled Sexy under the lower lash line. The look looked a little bit boring, so I wanted to do a little bit underneath just to give me a little bit more balance. Adding a little bit more Mink Magnet under the lower lash line. Of course, I'm going to tightline with my Urban Decay 24/7 Waterline pencil because I just must. It is something I do just about every day. Today I'm going to use the Benefit Roller Lash mascara, and this isn't my favorite mascara in the whole world. I kind of like it. I usually wear it when I'm wearing my glasses. Don't mind the talking, but I was talking to my cat, and then an egg was hatching. Is it going to be good? Please? Star you. Okay. Finishing mascara. I do like this mascara when I wear my glasses. It keeps my lashes out of the way. So this is the finished look, the gold eye look. And it's a little bit more subtle, but just sparkly enough to have a little bit of visual interest. So, here is look number 3. My favorite of them all, but you know I'm kind of into the more bold looks. Now, when you've only got 6 colors to play with and only one is a kind of bold pink color, you've really got to get a little bit creative. So in this video, we're going to use the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil. It's in black, and this is going to help give a darker, sort of smokier look to that pink that I'm going to put down on my lower lid. And this is a great trick really for any shadows that you want to either darken up or lighten up if you use a white eye pencil. This NYX pencil blends out super easily. I like to use my finger here just to get a nice sort of a gradient like smudge going, and it really just works as a nice base to darken things up. So first I'm going to start with Spoiled Sexy. This is kind of backwards from the way I've done it on the other two, but I really want to get in there and blend the edge of that black base that I put down. And it's going to take some blending. This is my Sigma E25, and I love this brush. It's precise, but it's also blendy. And we're just going to work right on the edge of that black that I put down. And we're going to blend until we get a nice smooth socket going there. Now this I picked up at the dollar store. It's clean sweep, and it's supposed to take powder off of your brushes so you can reuse them without washing, and it works really well. Now I'm going to go back in with Lingerie Lover, my transition color, on a super fluffy Wet n Wild blending brush. And I don't even call this a blending brush. It is so fluffy. I'm trying to lay down a transition really almost all the way to my brow bone. And we're just trying to soften out the edges between where that dark color is and where the transition up into my crease goes. It's party time! We are going to go into Wild Nights, the pink shade, and we're going to put it all over where we had that black NYX base. And you see what a different pink it ends up being? It really kind of pulls purple when you put this dark base underneath it. And I really like how this turns out. Now I'm going to take this all the way into my crease, and typically you wouldn't want to bring a shimmery shadow into your crease if you've got hooded eyes and up onto that hood, because then you're drawing attention to the hood. But here I'm going to say it's okay because this is such a dark color that we're going to be able to get away with it, and it's not going to draw attention. Now I'm going into a more precise but still fluffy, denser blending brush. This is my whale brush. I got it in an Ipsy box, and I'm still using Wild Nights, but look how different it looks without the black base. So now I'm going up onto my hood where I don't have any of that black base, and it really looks like a different eyeshadow. It's lighter pink because we don't have that black base. And so this is how you can really get some mileage out of these palettes that don't have a ton of different colors in them, by just, you know, mixing up your lights and your darks and adding some tones to them. I'm going to go in here and soften this out with a little bit of Champagne Buzz, unless it was Spoiled Sexy. I can't remember which one I dipped into. But I'm just blending out the edges, blending, just the very edge. Now I'm going to go into Silk Sheets again, which is the very nice inner corner and brow bone highlight. I will say that this color does not last very long. I mean, it really fades pretty quickly, but you know, it's okay. We'll survive. I'm going to take on a pencil brush. This is from It Cosmetics, the Wild Nights pink shade, and put a little of that under the eye, and then I'm going to smoke that out with some Spoiled Sexy, the darker of the matte shades. I'm going to take a fluffy Wet n Wild brush and go into Champagne Buzz and so lightly put a tiny bit in the center of my eye, and then with no additional product on that Real Techniques flat shadow brush that I used, just blend out the edges of that shiny. Of course, we're tight lining with Urban Decay's 24/7 Waterline pencil. And since we don't really have a dark shade to go under the lash line, I just took a little of that pencil and put it under my lower lash line and smudged the heck out of it. And then I'll smudge a little bit more of Spoiled Sexy just to kind of soften that look under the eye. Now I'm going to use my favorite mascara ever. This is Charlotte Tilbury's Legendary Lashes. I love this mascara. It is my absolute favorite. That's one coat. Now I'm doing coat number 2. I love this mascara. I think it lengthens, it gives volume, it's so easy to work with. When I first bought it, it was a very wet mascara and it smudged a lot when you were putting it on until it dried down, but after it's been open for a month or so, it got much better. Telescopic on the lower lashes, and this is NYX Liquid Suede in Subversive Socialite on my lips. Here's the finished look. I love how this turned out. This is so me, it is not even funny. Aw, yeah. There you have it, everybody. 3 looks. There you have it, everybody. 3 looks, 1 palette. Wild side. Now I've got Motley Crue going through my head. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you would like to see more of these 3 looks 1 palettes, give my video here a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below if you have any requests for what palettes you would like to see me play around with. I have more palettes than I would like to admit. Lots of palettes. As always, thanks a lot for taking some time to hang out and nerd out and geek out over makeup with me. Have yourselves an awesome day, awesome week, awesome night, wherever you are in the world. I appreciate your time. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.